All right, welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about a new type of problem. And this process is going to ultimately be called factoring, but today we're just going to call them Daimaond problems. Now, Daimaond problems are kind of unique. I'll show you how one works right here. So, in a Daimaond problem, there's kind of four numbers that we care about. The two side numbers end up being the most important two numbers. Those are, so let's just pick two side numbers. So how about 5 and -2? So the two side numbers are going to be what the top number and the bottom number are based off of. So the top number is always going to be those two side numbers multiplied together. So in this situation, if I had 5 times -2, that would give me a -10. That would be my top number. And then the bottom number is going to be 5 plus -2. So 5 plus -2 would be a +3. And that's how these problems work, right? So as long as you have the two side numbers, these problems are relatively easy. So let's look at a few. Now, I know there's a bunch of problems on here. I'm not going to do all of them, and I'm not going to make you do all of them for homework. We're just going to kind of jump around a little bit and pick and choose problems that look interesting. So let's do problem number 1 together right now. So in problem number 1, we're given that our two side numbers are +11 and -1. Well, to get the top number, we just need to multiply those together. So 11 times -1 is -11. That's going to be our top number. To get our bottom number, we just want to take those two numbers and add them together. So 1 plus -1 is 10, or 11 plus -1 is 10. Now, notice, if it's a negative, it's also the same as saying 11 take away 1, because that would also be 10. But once you have those two numbers, we're good, and we can move on. Let's do another one. How about number 5? Now remember, to get the top, we want to multiply those numbers together. So 10 times -6, that's -60. And then to get the bottom number, we want to add those numbers. So since it's a 10 and a -6, we can say 10 minus 6 if we want. So 10 minus 6 would give us 4. Notice that's the same thing as saying 10 plus a -6. We get 4 either way. Once you get those two numbers, you're done. Let's do another one. Let's do problem number 9. To get the top number, we want to multiply. So 1 times 12 is 12. And then 1 plus 12 is 13. So that's going to be our bottom number. Now, most of these problems in this top, or in the top 3 rows here, are all working out that same way. Let's do another one. Let's do number 7 right now while we're here. So in number 7, if I take 12 times -2, I would get -24 up top. And then on the bottom, if I take 12 and I take away 2, I would get a +10. Right? That's all I'm doing, is I'm looking for those side numbers. Now, most of these problems that I've shown you so far are the easiest kind of problems that we have to give you. But there are some harder ones. And this is what I mean by harder. So this would be a harder problem. Now in this problem, notice how we don't know what the other number is, right? The side ones are the most important. So what I do know is that if I take -6 though, and I multiply it by whatever this number is, I would get -60. So one way I can figure that out is that since 6 times something is equal to -60, I could take -60 and divide it by -6 to figure out what that number is. So -60 divided by a -6 would be a +10. Now, as soon as I know what number makes that true, then to get the bottom number, I just need to add those together. So -6 plus 10 would give me a 4 on the bottom. Okay, so that's kind of what we're thinking when we get to those unique situations. Let's see if we can find another good problem. So how about this one, number 20? So in this one, we need to know 10 times what number is equal to, or -10 times what number is equal to -100. To figure that out, we just need to take -100 and divide that by -10, and we find out that this number must be 10. Now, you can always check your work here, guys. If you take -10 times +10, you should see that you get -100, just like we thought we would. So it works. Now for the bottom, if I take negative 10 and I add 10, I get 0. So that's going to be my number down here. All right, so those are fun problems. Now, those aren't the hardest ones I have yet. We still have a couple more medium difficulty ones that I want to work with you. So let's look at problem number 13. Now, problem number 13 is kind of unique because, again, we don't know what one of the side numbers is. But we do know what number they both add up to. So 12 plus what equals 19? Now, if you don't know the answer, there's an easy way to figure it out on your calculator. You just got to say 19, take away 12, and that gives us 7. So 7 must be our number over here. And it's good to check that. If I take 12 plus 7, I do get 19, so this works out. Now, once you have the side number, you just need to figure out the top. And to figure out the top, we always multiply. So 12 times 7 is going to give us 84. Let's do another one. How about number 18? So if 5 plus something equals negative 4. So to figure this out, all I need to do is take negative 4 and subtract 5. So that must mean that this is negative 9. So let's try that. 5 plus negative 9 equals negative 4, so it works for the bottom. Now let's see if it works for the top. 5 times negative 9 gives us negative 45 for our number up top. Now, these problems are all relative. Let's do one more. How about 15? So something plus 7 equals 2. If you don't know what it is, then all you got to do is take the bottom number and minus the side number. So 2 minus 7 means this must be a negative 5. Now, I always think it's good to check. So negative 5 plus 7 is 2. We can see that that worked out correctly. Once you know what the side is, or both sides are, then you just need to multiply them to get to the top. So this must be negative 35. Now, these problems up here at the very top, where you get both of the side numbers, these are the easiest problems. The problems where you get only one side number to start with, these are medium level problems. The hardest problems come when you don't get either of the side numbers. So let's work through a couple of these. How about number 25 to start? Now, when I try to solve this problem, this is the hardest one. What I'm trying to figure out is I just need to know what are two numbers that multiply to 10 that add to 7. So in order to figure this out, what I tell my students to do is to make a list. And you can do this on your calculator really easy. So whatever your top number is, that's the number you're going to put on top of your list. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to start at 1. So you're going to say 10 divided by 1. And that means, and since I got a nice number, that means 1 goes in 10 times. Then I'm going to go up. So the next number bigger than 1 is 2. So I'm going to say 10 divided by 2. 2 goes in 5 times. Then I go 10 divided by 3. And that one gave me a decimal. We don't like decimals, so we're not going to use that one. So then we'll go up again. 10 divided by 4. 2.5. That's a decimal. We don't need to use it. 10 divided by 5. Hey, look, that's 2. So that means 5 goes in 2 times. Now, if you notice something, our list flip-flopped here. That means that our answer is one of these two. So we just got to figure out which one. 1 plus 10 is 11. So that's not right because I needed it to be 7. 2 plus 5, that's 7. So those must be our two numbers. And you can check this too because 2 times 5 equals 10. 2 plus 5 equals 7. Let's do another one. How about number 22? On problem number 22, if you notice, we have 20 as the top number. So to do this, we want to start by making a list. So I'm going to say 20 divided by 1. That means 1 goes in 20 times. 20 divided by 2. That means 2 goes in 10 times. 20 divided by 3. That's a decimal. We don't use it. 20 divided by 4. That means 4 goes in 5 times. 20 divided by 5. That means 5 goes in 4 times. And right here, you should notice how your list just flip-flopped. It was 4-5 before, and now it's 5-4. So when it flip-flops, you don't need to worry about that answer, and this is all the farther you need to go. So these are all the numbers that multiply to be 20, and if you look, 4 plus 5 would add to give us the 9 that we wanted on the bottom. So those must be our two numbers. Let's do one more. And don't get me wrong, I know these are the hardest ones, but we still need to be able to work with them. So let's do problem number 28. So the way we approach these problems is we take our top number, and that's what goes on top of our list. Now, as we work down, we got to think, what numbers go into 9? So this is where we grab our calculator. We say 9 divided by 1. That means 1 goes in 9 times. 9 divided by 2. That's a decimal. Doesn't go in, we don't use it. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 9 divided by 4. 9 divided by 5. These are all decimals. 9 divided by 6. 9 divided by 7. 9 divided by 8. 9 divided by 9. Hey, look, that's where our list finally flip-flopped. That means 9 goes in one time, right? 1, 9, and 9, 1 are flip-flops, so we don't even need to use it. So those are the only numbers that multiply to be 9. Which two are going to add to give us 10? Well, that's 1 and 9. Now, it's important to realize it doesn't matter if you would have wrote 9 and 1. That would work too, right? It doesn't matter the order. It's just that we get the right numbers on the sides, that they multiply to be the top, and add to be the bottom. Those are the hardest problems. You're not going to have a bunch of those. We're going to keep practicing as we go, but for right now, I need you to get as good at this process as you can. Thank you guys so much for watching the full video. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to me. Have a nice day.